Now you're given fx equals to this, and there are two unknowns a and b, and you are told that unknowns are constants, which means that actually they can be not decimals, can be fraction, okay, or can be integers. Now it is divisible, exactly divisible by 2x minus 1, which means that if you were to set this 2x minus 1 to be 0, you will be able to get the x value to substitute in to here. So if you let this fx, okay, the x will let it be half, the remainder you get should be 0 because it's exactly divisible. So that's the reason why the remainder is 0. Okay, then now what you need to do, some of you during the test just now, you don't know what to do after this. What this means is the x value of this function is half. So you substitute inside half here and you will get this. Okay, then you manipulate until you get a term, b term, a term in b, and then a constant term. Okay, I'm not doing anything here because I normally like to see what is the other equation before I decide whether to manipulate further, whether to make b the subject or whatever. Okay, so I like to see what this turns out to be before I decide. Now, this is the first equation, so-called, may not be complete yet. Now the second one tells you that this fx, this function here, when you divide it by x plus 2, the remainder is 15. So if you were to set this to 0, you'll be able to get x minus 2. So this minus 2 is the value that you must sub into here. All the x values, replace all the x values with minus 2, and that will give you the remainder, which is minus 15 according to this question. So you simplify this, you will get this, and this, and from here I notice that the b is common, so I leave everything here. I plus 15 both sides to make this side 0, and then I add. So equation 1, I'm going to add to equation 2. Now you can do it any other way that you prefer. For me, I just thought that I would use elimination, and that's what I did here. I took this whole equation 2 minus equation 1, and I end up with this. Okay, please check whether my working is correct. Then I get a equal minus 3. Now there's no need to show any working for b. You simply sub a inside here, then you use calculator and get 3. Now after I've known a and b, basically that's it for part A. Part A is complete already. Now let me go to B. B, they ask you to solve fx equals to 0. Now for this kind of questions, you actually have to use the a and b from the first part, but sometimes they will say hence solve this. Alright, but even if they don't say, it's understood that you have to use the a and b from the first part. And for this particular question, because they say giving answers in third form where necessary, so you probably can suspect and expect that later you may have an equation that you can't factorize, so you have to use the quadratic formula. So when you see this in third form, your answer in third form, is actually trying to imply to you that you have to use this quadratic formula which you learn in E-maths, because in this quadratic formula then you will have this cert here, this square root sign here. So let's see how it goes. What I do now is I sub the minus 3 into here and 3 into here, and I end up with this, which is what I'm going to solve later. But before I solve, I'm going to factorize. Okay, so let's do this together. You can pause the video and try first. Always settle the biggest power. So what times 2x give me this? Okay, it's actually x squared. So you can actually take this divided by this, you also get x squared. So there are two ways to approach this kind of question. Similarly, the smallest x power 0, you take this divided by this, you will get the answer. Okay, or you can think of it as minus 1 times what equals to 3. It has to be minus 3, okay? So that is how you can do the first and the last term here. And in between, we always put an unknown. And now I'm going to equate the coefficient. I choose minus 3. You can choose minus 5. It's up to you. You can choose either minus 3. That means you can choose either the coefficient of x squared or the coefficient of x. Except you cannot choose this. You cannot choose this because you have already used it to find these two terms. Okay? So, after you have done this, you will be able to get p equals to minus 1. And now you substitute minus 1 here, and then you are ready to solve the question. As you can see, this equals to 0. So rightly so, because in the first part, they already told you that this is divisible by 2x minus 1, right? So x equals to half is one of your answer. Now, this is the part where you need to use surds. Okay, as you can see, there's no way you can factorize, and when you press calculator, that's why you must always use the calculator to help you check and to predict your answers. You will find that when you substitute in minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, okay, you find that you get a number that is not a perfect square inside here. Okay, and when that happens, of course your answer will not be an exact answer. It will be an answer with a lot of decimal places. That's why they say leave your answer in surd form where necessary. Okay, so this is what they mean. So your answer is like that. There are three answers. One is a positive root 13, the other one is a negative root 13. Okay, so that concludes this particular question.